Hey there, folks, and welcome back to another episode of our venture in the visual novel If My Heart Had Wings, Flight Diary. In the last episode, the date continues, which is now absolutely confirmed, and of course, there were definitely a lot of awkward moments between Izuka and Tatsuya, and Aoi getting the idea of just saying for himself and Amane to basically display the common actions and activities of a couple, to which there were a few cases to where it was caught on, but I tell you, the sharing of the ice cream, that was a disaster in itself. But then they stumbled across a haunted house in the season of the game, and Aoi said, hey, this is a perfect opportunity. He had to kind of really poke Amane to really get his point across. And then, of course, said to Amane, which was more so as a means of trying to help Tatsuya, encouraging Amane to grab his arm if she ever got scared while in the haunted house. Still got a little awkward as far as even just going to the entrance. So let's see, once they go in the haunted house, how things turn out. Let's transition. Here we go. All right, let's see what they do. Hurry up, you two.
ああ、今行く。
I didn't need to explain why I had chosen the haunted house. In this kind of place, if overcome with fear, a girl could latch on to a guy for support. People who were scared together could open up to each other even more. It seemed like Izuka wasn't too fond of ghosts, so this was a great chance for Tatsuya. However... Ooh. Okay. Okay, let's just throttle that back just a little bit. Izuka's ear-piercing shriek could be heard throughout the haunted house. And just as planned, Izuka latched on to Tatsuya in sheer panic. Hey Tatsuya, you ain't deaf yet, are you? But the problem was... Oh, man, this is really scary. To be honest, this haunted house was really quite something. I could hear other customers screaming left and right as proof. It was an awfully realistic production of an abandoned hospital. It was much better than the average haunted house.
いいっすか、さっきからうるさいぞ。しょうがないでしょ。っていうか、なんであんた平気なのよ。
Probably because she knows this is all just a production, and all the different factors surrounding it, from people acting to animatronics.
何がだ?
Amane tilted her head and really didn't seem to know what all the fuss was about. She didn't seem to understand the general concept of the supernatural. Maybe she just thought of them as interesting research subjects. This kind of reminds me of Switch from Sket Dance, where he literally just did not care anything about the haunted or anything, and he was like, okay, show me some scientific proof and stuff. Amane and I took the lead, while Izuka and Tatsuya followed from behind. Without making a sound, a shadow appeared in one of the hallway windows. A pair of barely visible eyes met Izuka's. Izuka screamed again and latched onto Tatsuya. Tatsuya's face was as stiff as ever. Not cool. I almost screamed myself. Tatsuya, do yourself a favor and everyone and just hold her. Because at this point, that's really what's going to most likely calm her down. So just hold her. If it had been me it was looking at, then I would have definitely screamed. The monsters here didn't go for jump scares, but tried to hide in the corner of your eyes. It was like seeing an actual ghost while your friends were fooling around trying to scare you.
あの人はあそこで何をしているんだ?
Amane was the only one asking the blatantly obvious questions about the ghosts.
ごめんね、さっきから。
いいから気にするな。
あんまり大丈夫じゃないかも。腰が抜けそう。
しっかり捕まってろ。目も閉じてていいから。
Iska grabbed onto Tatsuya tightly and closed her eyes. I'm so jealous. I mumbled unintentionally. My girlfriend, on the other hand.
なあ、葵。さっきから天井から誰か見ているんだが。
I looked up without thinking and whimpered. Part of the ceiling was broken off and a face could be seen from up there. It's not something I would have found on my own, but if I had, I think my heart would have stopped.
何してるんだあれは。
Trying to scare us.
ただ見ているだけだぞ。襲ってくる気配はなさそうだが。
I wanted my girlfriend to scream and fly into my arms. And while that was what I hoped for,
さっきの人、顔色が悪そうだったぞ。病院へ行った方がいいんじゃないだろうか。
Amane was showing no sign of being scared at all. Dang it. I'll take her someplace really high next time. Really, dude? Really? She'd have nowhere else to go but my arms if we crossed a suspended bridge. Come on, Aoi. Don't be all salty. Don't do that. The haunted hospital was elaborately made with stairs going down in the middle. It was scary going down the dark stairs, but having 2 floors, this place was quite big. Halfway through, you got used to it a little and let your guard down a little. Those two are doing quite nicely.
本当だ。
Izuka had her eyes open now, but was still holding on to Tatsuya. And Tatsuya was walking along with her, minding her steps.
おっと、大丈夫か？
平気。
No one was really talking, but you could tell that their attitudes had changed. She was a little more used to the fear and starting to be a bit more daring. Maybe it was embarrassing to be close to each other, but it was okay here in the haunted house.
五十嵐君は平気なの？
ああ、正直言ってちょっと怖いけどな。でもお前のことを守らないといけないから。
There were hints that we were closing in on the exit, so we began to relax a little bit. Then all of a sudden, well, there's your jump scare. Yeah, that's a little hideous. Yeah, that definitely will get you a little bit. Almost looks a little bit as if it's the Terminator with that like red eye there. Right when we thought the wall would collapse, a zombie wearing a nurse uniform came out.
わあ。
Oh, startled her a bit. Ugh! Okay. Amane gasped like a fool. I stopped myself from yelling and Itsuka screamed like she was about to faint. We began to run, confused. But Itsuka fell to her knees. Itsuka!
いつかのことは俺が必ず守れ。
Tatsuya yelled and he held Itsuka in his arms. I guess it was a bit over the top, but he held her protectively and ran away from the show moving zombie. I also grabbed Amani's hand and ran.
なんであの人追いかけてくるんだ？
I want to be able to protect my girlfriend like Tatsuya did. I grumbled while running toward the exit. We came running out of the haunted house with our hands on our knees, breathing heavily.
最後のはやばかったな。
Yeah, I'm sure that would definitely be it. That's pretty much a jump scare at that point. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all.
あれがお化け屋敷か。 なんだかおかしなところだったな。
As we were sharing our thoughts on the haunted house, Izuka had her head down in silence. Her face was bright red. Tatsuya was still carrying her. Jeez. He was still carrying her like a princess while people walked past, looking on curiously.
すまん。
Tatsuya finally noticed and quickly let her down. Itsuka collapsed right there on the floor.
大丈夫か、イスカ。五十嵐くんが守ってくれたから。
おお。
Tatsuya looked uncomfortable when he realized what had happened. Natural reflex. I guess he'd just been pumped up from the atmosphere of the haunted house. What you did back there was pretty cool.
バカ、からかうなよ。
でも、ほんと怖かった。
I didn't think it was going to be that realistic. I was feeling pretty bad about suggesting it. It was definitely made for horror fans and not a place for people who weren't into that sort of thing.
立てるか。
Tatsuya naturally extended his hand, allowing Izuka to grab it and pull herself up.
と。
Tatsuya supported Izuka when she limped trying to stand up.
ふらふらする。本当に腰抜けちゃったかも。
Yeah, sometimes the fright shock could take some time to wear off.
じゃあ、しばらく俺の手を握ってろ。
Izuka nodded, her face all red. And the two very naturally started walking holding hands. Good. I took the perplexed-looking Amani by her hand and followed behind them. After that, we continued on our double date in high spirits. Itsuka and Tatsuya were getting more and more comfortable. They were even holding hands in the open now. Of course, a lot of people were going to look at a cute girl and a handsome guy out on a date, so they drew in looks from passerby. Of course, no one beats my girlfriend. We got some tea after the haunted house, then headed to the arcades. We played large simulators, then moved on to some multiplayer retro action games. Izuka, a self-professed genius gamer, beat a hard action game without losing a life. But she wasn't good at crane games and was frustrated that she couldn't get a doll that looked like Hat. Did Tatsuya get it for her? We ate supper at Wendy's, and instead of going home immediately, we just wandered around town until sunset. We ate supper at Wendy's, and instead of going home immediately, we just wandered around town while the sun set. And before we realized it, we were down by the side of the lake. Right now, Izuka and Tatsuya were walking a little in front of us. Just the two of them, holding hands.
今日ってデートだったんだよね。
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
ああ。うん。
You made it through. Good job.
あまねから聞いたときびっくりしたけど楽しかった。
ああ。楽しかったな。
お化け屋敷超怖かったけどね。
あの時のイスカ最高だったな。
あ、ひどい。本当に苦手なんだからお化け。
ホラー映画とか好きそうなのに意外な一面が発見できた。
そんなとこ発見しなくていいよ。
Yeah, well, y'all did, so get over it.
でもそのおかげで前よりお前と近づけた。
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They're holding hands like it's normal now. That's a big step for one day. I looked at Tatsuya and Izuka, walking behind them with Amane. They were both holding hands like it was a natural thing to do. It was a dazzling scene. with the two of them walking by the lake covered by the sunset. Huh? Are you in a bad mood?
別に
She sounded moody. What's going on? Amane stared at Tatsuya and Izuka's backs and pouted. Are you actually jealous? Amane did not answer. It seemed like I was spot on. I'm going to ask just in case. What are you jealous of?
達也にだ
She answered with dissatisfaction.
昔からそうだった達也といる時のイスカはちょっとだけ遠くなるんだそれを見てるとほんの少し胸がざわつくこんな気分になるのは良くないことだって分かっているんだがな
Izuka was Amane's one and only friend. It was probably natural that she'd be jealous of someone getting so much of Izuka's attention. I found that cute of Amane.
何がおかしいんだ
And we'll find out what he's actually laughing at and how this will also continue on the next episode. I mean, it's understandable that Amane feels a bit jealous that her best friend is now engaging in a much closer type of intimacy with someone else. But when it comes to intimate relationships that's actually how it is. So let us be careful that we don't start acting in jealousies to where we start then trying to sabotage a relationship, because that's not good. Neither relationship should ever be sabotaged, not the friendship nor the intimate relationship. Both relationships should be respected by all parties involved. But with that, I want to thank everyone for watching this video this time around. If you like what you saw, maybe consider leaving a like. And if you'd like to see more and you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing and be sure to hit that bell icon for notifications. So until next time, happy mixing, everyone.